It's just a quick video following on from a story on skysports.com. The headline is Gennady Golovkin plotting fight at Upton Park or Olympic Stadium. So those of you who follow Golovkin on social media will know that he attended a recent football game at West Ham. Apparently the chairman of West Ham is a big fan of Gennady Golovkin and has invited him to fight at West Ham's stadium later this year. Golovkin's promoter, Tom Loeffler, has said that Saunders would be the ideal opponent, and also mentioned Chris Eubank, as a possible opponent for a later date in 2016. They've said that they like the idea of the fight. They like the idea of it being in Britain, where Golovkin's got a big market, having fought Macklin and Murray in the past. They like the idea of it being at a football stadium. They just need to sort out the opponent. Now, I actually like this from Team Golovkin. They obviously want the Saunders fight. They're obviously struggling to get big name opponents. Saunders doesn't appear to be overly keen in that fight. And what they're doing is really bringing the fight to Saunders' back doorstep. I mean, let's put it this way. One can logically deduce that Billy Joe Saunders is going to want a big fight this year, having just won the world title. If he's not going to fight Golovkin, then the other big fight out there for him is Eubank. And what Golovkin's team are here suggesting is that they're going to turn up in the East End of London, at Upton Park, a venue which has housed, Frank Warren shows in the past. I was at H. Chisora there, for example. So they're going to turn up to the East End of London. They're going to go to West Ham's football stadium, and they are going to fight a big British name. Now, if the Saunders fight can't be made, that suggests that Team Golovkin could be considering targeting Eubank. And that's sensible. Eubank, although he perhaps isn't the most proven fighter in the pro ranks, he's a very big name, very marketable, and he's also expressed substantial interest in fighting Golovkin. So what they could be doing is fighting in Billy Joe Saunders and Frank Warren's backyard and stealing Billy Joe Saunders' big summer opponent, Chris Eubank Jr., which, to be honest, would leave Billy Joe Saunders in not the best position, having missed out on two big fights and, having to fight a lesser name in order to defend his world title and to make his money this year. So I think it's quite shrewd tactics from them. The only thing that could fall down is, although the Eubanks have said time and time again they want the fight, there's still a question as to whether they actually want the fight and whether they would take the fight at this stage. Chris Eubank Jr. is such a marketable fighter. He's becoming such a big name. Would they risk a devastating loss that would essentially destroy his image in the public arena if he was absolutely battered by Golovkin? So, that could possibly be a fly in the ointment, so to speak, because, foreseeably Chris Eubank Jr. would prefer to fight Billy Joe Saunders in what would be probably an equally big money matchup, and one would assume he would have a higher percentage chance of winning that fight than against Gennady Golovkin. So, yeah, but I like what Golovkin's doing. I like the fact he's prepared to travel to make his name. I like the fact that he's going to opponents' backyards. And I also think, this slowly builds the pressure on Billy Joe Saunders. Saunders has got a lot of stick for not taking the fight. Now Golovkin's turning up in the East End of London, proposing to fight for the middleweight world title in Saunders' division, in Saunders' backyard. For me that adds the pressure, and it's an interesting tactic ahead of making the fight. Do you see this as realistic? Is this going to happen? Will it be Saunders? Will it be Eubank? Obviously, if Saunders does fight Eubank, there probably isn't a British opponent who Golovkin could face that would be a football stadium fight. But let me know your thoughts on this anyway. Thanks for watching.